Hi everybody, this is Adam, Colorado Shooting Sports. I'm the gunsmith and manager here at the store. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about 1911s. I've got a few different examples here on the bench. We're going to talk about some of the basic maintenance issues that you're going to have with the gun. We're going to talk a little bit about history, but not too much. And we're going to talk about when you need to come see me with your 1911. In the future, we're going to look at doing some more videos covering these topics more in depth. We're going to talk about enhancements and what we can do to build your 1911 into a more usable fighting handgun. Our focus here is combat handguns. We can build target pistols and we can build plinkers, and we do, but every gun that leaves the store is designed to be ready for a fight, and that's how we do things. Alright, so I've got a broken down GI style 1911 here on the bench to kind of show you the internal parts. The first thing I want to hit right off the bat with these guns is the recoil spring. 1911s are big chunks of metal moving back and forth with a lot of energy. They wear out their springs really quickly. This gun is relatively brand new. I'm going to put a new recoil spring next to the one in the gun. I want you to see how much shorter that already is. That spring has started to take a set. The first time a spring is compressed, it does take a set. It shrinks slightly. After that, every cycle that it goes through, every time it gets compressed and released, it fatigues the metal. After about 1,000 rounds, 1911 recoil springs are done. If you fail to replace the recoil spring on time, what you're going to do is ruin your gun. You're going to have metal parts slamming into each other without being properly slowed down by the spring. So every 1,000 rounds or more, or sooner, I should say, you should be replacing your recoil spring. It's non-negotiable. It's a critical component. Waiting for the gun to start jamming to replace the spring is not a good plan. You're already doing damage at that point. So you need to be proactive about it. Otherwise, you're going to come see me with a really broken gun. Nobody wants that. Other things to consider with this gun. These pistols were designed at a time when metallurgy is not what it is today. They were designed to work around the manufacturing capabilities of the time and the metal of the time. As a result, you've got very large rails. These are in heavy contact with the slide. It's one of the reasons that the 1911 has a hard time keeping up with modern pistols. You've got a lot of surface area and you've got nowhere for crud to go. This is not the sort of gun you put 50,000 rounds through without a cleaning. It's not going to happen. There's just nowhere for all of that crap to accumulate. So we need to be cleaning the gun on a fairly regular basis. I would say that 100 rounds at the range is probably about all you want to get out of it. The other thing you got to realize, carbon it's the formative component of a diamond. It's very hard and it's very sharp. You fill these rails up with carbon and keep running it back and forth, you're going to wear the gun out. You're actually going to increase the tolerances and jack up your accuracy. So again, cleaning the gun is very critical, so is lubrication. Any gun you buy from us here at the store, we're going to cover that. I'm not going to give away all our trade secrets here in a video for you, but again, if you got questions about 1911, come in and see us. We can definitely take a look at it for you. Other things I want to talk about with this gun. Magazines are critical with 1911s. This is actually for a 9mm 1911, which they do exist. It's a GI style magazine. First of all, it's actually a little bit better than GI. It does have an elevated follower, which is an improvement over standard. One thing it doesn't have is a base pad. If you're running a 1911 and your magazines don't have base pads, I got a question for you. Why not? This particular gun, as you can see, inserting the magazine, it sits flush with the bottom of the frame. First of all, getting it out can be a chore. This one doesn't drop free. But for insertion, that base pad gives me something very solid to make sure that it's driven fully into the gun. I personally, in training once, had a magazine fall out of a rifle I was shooting. That only happened once, because that's embarrassing. It also can get you killed. So what we want to make sure that we do is we seat the magazine fully, and the base pad allows us to do that. We have quality 1911 mags with base pads here in the store in stock most of the time, almost always in fact. And the other thing about 1911s, when the magazines start to wear out, you're going to start blaming a lot of other things on the gun. It's not the gun, it's the magazine. They're very sensitive to spring power. You'll start having the slide stop not work, and the slide won't lock open on an empty. You'll have failures to feed. The gun was designed to fire a full metal jacket ball round. When you start feeding it hollow points and things like that, you can have issues. And again, if the magazine's not 100%, then the gun's not going to cooperate with you. It's not going to do what you expect it to do. We can do some additional work to the guns as far as polishing and adjusting feed ramps. We can throat barrels, things like that, to improve feeding with rounds other than ball. However, if the magazine's not 100%, it doesn't matter what I do. It's not going to help. So that's just a couple of the things I wanted to touch on initially. There's a lot of really interesting custom work that can be done in 1911s. Again, this is more of a GI configuration. Standard sights, standard safety, standard beaver tail. This is an example of what I'd consider a more modern style of 1911. It's got forward cocking serrations, ambi safety, magazine well, things like that. If you have a stock GI style 1911, well, guess what? We can build this out of that gun. There's a lot of really awesome stuff we can do. Now, this is an example of what would have been state-of-the-art about 30 years ago. It's actually an alloy commander that someone turned into a 1980s race gun competition piece. The cool part about this is, as crazy and as weird and as freaky as this looks, we're going to put it back into a fighting handgun. We're going to make a nice alloy frame combat commander custom out of it for the owner. We're going to keep some of the features that are useful, and we're going to delete a whole bunch of them that aren't. But at the end of the day, what he's going to end up with is a hand-built custom 1911 that's going to be good for carry, good for fighting use, but it didn't cost him a fortune. So we like 1911s here. They have their uses. I like to call them the hot rod. The Glock is the Honda Accord you drive to the grocery store. The 1911 is the hot rod you take out on Sunday when the weather's nice. It's kind of a valid comparison. They take a little bit more maintenance, a lot more tender loving care than most of the modern pistols do. That said, with competent support, and these guns, as military pistols, were designed to be serviced by armorers quarterly. Every 3 months, these guns were designed to go to the arms room and have an armorer inspect and repair them if necessary. You got to realize that. Maintenance is key. We are capable, and we are more than willing to work on your pistol. Come see us here at the store. We're at 2435 8th Avenue, Unit A, Greeley, Colorado. Phone number is 970-395-0664. Bring in your 1911, see what we can do for you. Thanks, have a great day.